So this video is for a few of my students. They've requested that I make a video about teaching Twinkle Twinkle Little Star variations from Suzuki Book 1. Um, what a lot of people don't realize is that Dr. Suzuki didn't just have one method of teaching as he lived his very long life. As he understood things better during his years, he kept changing his approach. And so, well, there are many ways to approach these variations. Now, this video is being shot mostly for my students by their request. If anything I say or do is contrary to whatever you've seen from your teachers, please ignore me and listen to your teacher. Don't listen to me for in that situation. Okay, without further ado, variation A. Now, when teaching beginning violinists, 2 to 4 years old, they can't really hold the bow with a thumb inside there so well because they don't have the control of the thumb as well as people past the age of 8. The exact age at which they can have more control of the thumb, it differs from child to child because every kid is different. So you have to assess each student on their own. But in general, 2 to 5 years old, I like the thumb out here. Yeah. And only when they really have good control of the thumb, I'll bring them back in here. But okay, so this would be for beginning violinists. I ask them to always have the bow hair facing them. And for variation A, I teach it several different ways depending on the student. The first way, I like to go between the frog and the end of the winding here. So just this much hair with the crunched down hand. And when the beginning violinist, you might need that little pinky cushion here. Okay? And just, just to get them used to this position. Of course, 2 to 4 years old, you see them like this. And so on and so forth. But as long as they get these knuckles down, that's what I find to be the important part. Then as they get better at it, then we start opening it up. And then for the 2/8 notes, come to the quarter of the bow. So it'll be, and if they start to get more flexibility, especially for the older students, I start making them do. Okay, and these are just some ideas. I've seen a lot of other people very successfully teaching from the middle of the book, and some people even doing upper, teaching the opening of the elbow, so it looks like this was. All are good. I like the first ones for beginning students to teach them this hand because it's hard for them. Yeah. Then for variation B, I personally like to start them with opening the elbow and using the tip of the bow to come to the bridge without pressure from here. Now, one of my students, with her students, actually came up with an idea of also using it for teaching the springs in the knuckles here. This, I didn't think of it, my student thought of it, and I'm quite proud of her because her students are doing really well. So this is another possibility, okay? But in general, I usually just teach the opening and closing of the elbow on that one. Variation C, okay, I start with very slow, bow hair facing them. So logically speaking, from the variation A to variation B, this is a combination of A and B to make this long bow Okay? And once they master that, then I start teaching them to catch the string, release. Yeah? And then they start to free up the arm a lot. Variation D, I teach this several ways. I start them first with what we call velvet fingers. Imagining that all the fingers are strips of velvet coming from the wrist. Okay? And I have them move the elbow in what I call a smiley face. So just a smiley face motion. Some people call it banana motion or other things. It's all the same, all works. Okay? And with a higher wrist, relaxed fingers, and just, it should make a détaché type sound. But important is that smiley face elbow. It shouldn't do this. Just like this. Nice, relaxed from the shoulder blade. And once they get this motion with the soft fingers, then start the same motion 1 centimeter up and you get a saltando. Now, if they have all that right with nice loose fingers and a nice elbow motion, yeah, and they can do this all the way through the variation well, then I start giving them ricochet. And then we go to variation E, which is basically the same thing, except instead of triplets, it's 16th notes. So instead of these are, then it's or ricochet. Okay, and then we combine all of it into the theme. So you can get the nice soft fingers, the smiley face motion, the elbow. And then to smoothen it out more, once they have all of these different technical apparatus together, then we start talking about, if you look up my other video on bowing fluidity, the idea of the spool of thread coming out of the violin through the arm, then this starts to connect the bow better. Okay, hope this helps for my student questions, and if any of you out there who are studying on your own or something, or just need something to reference for some extra ideas, I hope this helped. Have a good one.